Predator. Predator. You know what? Okay, good. I should be careful searching that word on the internet. Okay, so today it got announced that two new Predator movies are in the works. Prey 2 and Dan Trachtenberg is also set to direct a new Predator movie titled Badlands that'll begin filming later this year. So, all right, going into the article here about this announcement, there's some interesting things, and I'm curious about how this is going to pulled off. So, they have it here. Well, first let's talk about Prey. Let's talk about Prey before we get into the next movie, because the next movie seems like the Badland movie seems like the movie that's most recently going to happen. So, Prey was obviously an awesome surprise. If you still haven't seen Prey on Hulu, go check it out. I believe it's still on there. I don't know if maybe they've removed it. But I remember when this movie was announced and it was about to come out, there was a lot of people that didn't have faith in it. There was a lot of people that were like, oh, it's going woke, a female lead, Native Americans. Oh, how could this 20-pound girl fight a predator? I was so happy when the movie came out and it was awesome. And to see all those bros go, yeah, I was woke, but it was actually good. So maybe it's not woke then. Shut up. This movie was awesome, but it did exactly what I always say. Predator is one of those franchises like Terminator, Alien, Jurassic Park, where they have horror elements to them. Although you wouldn't call them straight up horror movies, their first films are horror based. They have a killer, this monster, whether it's the Predator, a xenomorph, or the T-800 from Terminator. They're like this killing machine, right? And so you're scared, you're frightened. But as the series went on, they became action movies. And so they lost the horror stuff and just became about people fighting these things, guns blazing, explosions. And I feel like they lost their way, to the point where we got that last Predator movie that went to theaters. What was it? Just Predator? What year did that one come out? 2018? The 2018 Predator movie, I was so excited for. I thought this movie was going to finally bring everything back. The trailers seemed to be decent and all that, but it's like, yeah, it went that action-packed route. It was super comedic, way too comedic for a Predator movie, where some scenes felt like an SNL sketch. I'm sure there's people out there that enjoyed this version. And then, what was it even? Autism was like a key plot point in this movie. I kid you not. There was like a kid in there. I think Jacob Tremblay was the kid. He had autism, and somehow his autism was the key to how predators work. I'm still blown away. That was a plot point in this movie. But obviously it failed at the box office. It didn't do what they wanted. And so Disney then bought 20th Century Studio, and they're like, all right, we'll scale it back. We'll go back to basics, and we'll just have this simple story. Movie kicked butt. Movie was great. So it's awesome that they're saying they're going to make a second movie. Unfortunately, though, this doesn't seem like the immediate movie they're wanting to make. They're saying this is still something we want to do, but it'll be next on the list because this new movie is going to be our priority. So I'm still happy, and the word is to have Mid Thunder come back and be it. And yeah, and if you saw the like, I don't want to say post-credit scene, but the ending of Prey had like two or three ships coming to where she was at. So that was like the setup. She was going to fight more predators. Could be cool. So anyways, just happy that's happening because I did like that movie. So now getting on to the second movie, that sounds a little bit more interesting. It'll also be directed by Dan Trachtenberg, who did Prey. He also did the Cloverfield, I think Cloverfield Lane movie. And here's the plot for this one. So it's titled Badlands. Let me go ahead and zoom out. Titled Badlands, the new Predator feature is not a sequel to Prey, which is set in 1719 and centered on a young Comanche woman forced to fight for survival against intergalactic hunters, but rather is a brand new story. Plot details are being kept a secret, but this one is said to be set sometime in the future, like Prey. However, it too will feature a female lead. Okay, this is interesting. So, Badlands. Immediately when I was like, that phrase is familiar to me. I'm like, I feel like I've heard that or seen TV shows or movies about that. So I immediately went to Google and I typed in Badlands movie. And to me, what came up was nothing but like, let's see, Badland. Let me see, movies. I should just write Badland. Look at here. I'm looking like a liar now. Well, there we go. When I looked it up, all that would come up are like Westerns. these Western films and things like that. It's like Badlands, and then all these cowboy stuff that was Badland. And then someone even found like a Facebook page, Predator Badland. Let me see if I could find it. Facebook. Someone had been campaigning for this to happen already. See, Predator the Badlands. Let's see if we can even. Is this Facebook page active? So yeah, someone then found like there was already a Facebook page that was created back in 2021 of somebody wanting this to already happen. Let's see if we can find the info on the bio. Like they like wrote it and everything, but I feel like this is a fan. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but essentially what I'm trying to say is what I found through searching Badland is everything led me to like a Western aesthetic. And I was like, okay, could that be the next movie then? It's like Predator versus Cowboys. And that's when everyone brought up the movie Cowboy versus Aliens. Because we already had something similar like that, Cowboys versus, which is really not similar at all, but that's what it was. And I'm like, I wouldn't mind Cowboys versus versus Predators. Like, I think that would be kind of cool in the old West. And you see like this photo that they photoshopped right here, guys on horses chasing the predators and them shooting them depending how advanced or whatnot they are. And it feels like a good progression. You just went from Native Americans fighting predators to then going to cowboys. It feels like you're slowly going up the ladder to different eras, because once you think Native Americans, I think next you think cowboys, right? Because that's usually what ends up fighting back in the day. So I was like, okay, that's cool. But then the part that kind of confused me about this is other people were then saying the movie will be set sometime in the future. And I feel like this is confusing in the article and is getting a lot of people maybe misinterpreting things. Because I don't know if they mean future as in like, the year 3025 and it's going to be robots and lasers versus predators, which would be cool. Don't get me wrong. I would love to see that. But I feel like in this phrasing, they just meant set in the future relative to Prey that was set in 1719. So meaning this movie could be set in 1820, in 1920, in the year 2005, So that's a possibility there, but set in the future, that's an idea. Then I also did my rounds of looking at what scoopers were saying, right? And I went to one that did apparently report on this before it got announced, so that lends some credibility to it. Let me see if I can find the V Scooper. Oh no, can I not find them? Maybe if I separate it. Oh, there he is. This person here, who I've been watching an eye on, trying to see how credible they are, they mentioned before. Oh, jeez, I gotta pull up that tweet. Let me see here. The V Scooper. Give me a second, guys. Arnold. Okay. This is what they tweeted in October of 2023. So right here, this Scooper just said, hope this is the requel I've been reporting and hearing about. So this is like, they've been saying that they've reported on it and they heard about it. And now that it's getting announced, I'm like, okay, so if they actually reported on it, let's see if that's true. The only thing they said was back in October of 2023, which just a few months. And that would make sense if they're starting to hear that. And here it's saying both Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny Glover are in talks to return in a Predator sequel. More movies of this universe are coming. And now that we've gotten the announcement, and this is what they're saying, back in October, a couple of months ago, it seems like they're being credible here. We got the announcement of two movies, this Badlands film and the Predator film, and the Prey film, and they're saying here, more movies in this universe. I don't know whether to get excited or not about the idea of Schwarzenegger and Danny Glover coming back. Because, I love Arnold, and he made that first movie iconic, but I think treading into that territory starts to feel like requel, like studio stinker stuff, when Prey was like the opposite of that. It was a low scale, back to basics, cool idea. What the basic premise of Predator is, right, is just a great hunter versus another hunter, let them fight, which is why I think the idea of like Cowboys versus Predator is cool, because it's just one type of hunter versus another type of hunter, let them fight, which I think is also why people always want an idea with samurais, And this feels like someone just said in the chat. This just feels kind of like nostalgia bait. I'm like, I don't want it to be about that. Now, don't get me wrong. If you make it work and you bring Arnold back, ooh, that'd be great. But I mean, Arnold's getting old, and no offense to Arnold, he'll always be the GOAT and legend. But it's like him in that movie, he was like so buff and ripped. I'm sure he's still buffed and ripped today. I just don't feel like it would hit the same as Danny Glover, who was the protagonist of the second movie. So it feels like they're doing an Avengers Endgame thing where they're bringing them all together into one movie to fight a predator. We'll see how that goes. To me, if this turns out to be real, it seems like what the Predator movie was trying to be, back to action, back to big blockbuster, where I'm like, that's the wrong way to go. Go with what you're doing with Prey. Little bit of small scale, go with the hunter aspect, and just have fun with it, have fun with the idea. But we'll see. I'm still optimistic, and I'm sure Dan Trachtenberg is going to do an awesome job. But this is the movie that right now we're going to get first, because I think in this article, it says that they're looking to film it, July, that they want to start production in July. So if they're starting to film it this year, dude, 2025 is a packed year of movies. Like, dude, so many cool movies are coming out in 2025. So this movie's coming out next year if they're wanting to film it by July. So that's what we got going on in the Predator sphere. I'm curious to hear what you guys think, what you think will work, won't work. I don't mind if it's the cowboy idea, as long as it's just something that's cool about one predator versus a different type of hunter. If you're going with a nostalgia-based story of bringing Arnold and Danny Glover, it feels like you're just making some repeated mistakes. And the reason this franchise went straight to streaming because of decisions like that, where it's like, no, I don't think that's what fans want to see. But I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Let's move on to our next story here. So